Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jared Poirier, and welcome to my movie review show where I talk about movies. So, if things look a little bit different around here, it's because I'm not in my normal studio today. I'm actually shooting live on location here at the CN Tower. Alright, so I really couldn't let October go without giving you guys one more horror movie review. So last night I watched The Thing. And believe it or not, this is actually the first time that I've watched The Thing all the way through. I guess I should tell you guys what The Thing is about, like, for the one or two people that don't know. So basically you have this like alien and it comes to Earth like thousands of years ago or whatever, and it gets frozen in the ice for like a super long time. And then like years later, Kurt Russell and all of his scientist buddies find it in like Antarctica. And basically the thing infects some members of this research crew, but you don't know which ones. That is until they like turn into horrible, gruesome, gory, disgusting monsters. And yeah, that's basically your movie. So I was really excited to see The Thing because it's legendary for its practical effects. And that's the first thing I want to talk about in this review, because the practical effects in this film are actually really fantastic. You can tell that the people who worked on these sets and worked on these effects like really believed in this movie, and they really wanted to create something special. And all of the dedication and the blood, sweat, and tears and the man hours, it's really all right up there on screen. And I've heard that some of the actors were like totally disgusted when they saw some of the effects that these artists were able to put together. So yeah, there's a reason why people are still talking about the effects in this movie. Alright, so I just want to talk a bit about some of the writing that went into this movie. The writing overall I actually thought was really solid. The way that the characters act and the decisions that they make all seem like pretty logical most of the time, which is actually pretty rare in a lot of movies. There's obviously a few standout characters, the first one being Kurt Russell. I also thought that like the old man character, whatever his name was, he was pretty well developed. I really got like a good sense of what he was all about, and you know, really cared about that character. And yeah, I guess the dog really stood out as a pretty good character in this movie. Some pretty good dog acting in this movie. But yeah, Kurt Russell is like really sexy in this, and you just get an idea of where all the characters are coming from. And it's not like a lot of movies where like characters just start like acting weird in order to like create drama. Like in this film, the paranoia and suspicion that would be entailed in like this type of situation really drives these characters, and it makes the whole plot like make a lot of sense actually. Alright, my phone died, so I gotta do the rest of this review at home. But a couple other things that I really wanted to talk about. The first one being one of the themes in this movie that really had me thinking while I was watching the film, but also quite a bit afterwards. And that's just the fact that we as humans, when we think about organisms coming from outer space, we tend to think of it in terms of something that would be pretty similar to us, you know, like maybe like a shorter, little kind of gray man with no ears or nostrils, but basically something pretty human-like in nature. And when you really think about outer space and you really consider some of the possibilities, the chances of that type of thing happening are actually pretty low. And what's actually way more likely is that organisms from outer space would be something like completely foreign and completely weird to us. Because this deals with an organism from another planet, but it's not like anything that it would be in our experience. It takes over other organisms and sort of creates these horrible like alien animal-human hybrids that are like really pussy and gross. So yeah, just the fact that like space is so incredibly foreign to us, and there could be a whole lot of horrible stuff up there. And after seeing it, I can really understand why so many people still talk about this movie. Because although it's not a perfect film, like there are a lot of problems with it, and just like certain polish that wasn't put on certain parts, and just like certain small continuity errors and stuff like that. But as I said, you can really tell that everybody involved was really committed to this, and they were really trying to make the best movie that they could possibly make. And as I thought about it more afterwards, I realized that what the filmmakers are essentially saying here is, we had this much resources and we made a movie that is this awesome. And it's basically like a dare to other filmmakers to say, okay, now with the resources that you have, what type of movie can you make? And the success of this movie and the fact that people are still talking about it today really shows that if you put your all into a work of art, people are going to recognize that, and it's going to be inspiring to a lot of people. So yeah, The Thing, guys, just to sum it up, I thought it was a really fantastic horror movie. The set design is all really great. It all feels really lived in, really realistic. The fact that you can actually see the character's breath when they talk. And of course the visual effects work, really revolutionary, really fantastic. You really can't overstate it. The visual effects in this movie are stunning. So yeah, if you haven't seen The Thing for some reason, you guys should definitely check it out. Alright, so that's going to be it for now, guys. I'm going to go see Thor Ragnarok in like an hour, so I should have a review of Thor Ragnarok up for you guys super soon. But yeah, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching my channel. I love you guys, and I will see you guys next time.